belly. So we're assuming that we have the underhook here. They have the frame. Put the frame in. We're gonna have to deal with that. If they have the underhook, we're gonna have to work around that. Okay, and there's different techniques, different strategies to deal with the underhook and continue to mount to deal with the frame, and we'll talk about that. But right now we're making that assumption that we have the underhook. Right? I'm gonna clear his elbow. Once I clear that elbow, I'm gonna slide my knee right across his belly. So I can keep my hands connected here if I want, but once I start sliding the knee across the belly, I'm gonna bring this hand out further at a 45-degree angle so that if he decides to put his hand on my knee, I can walk his arm up and still get my knee to the mat. So right here, I'm just gonna kind of walk my fingers on the mat, lift my elbow up a little bit, walk in a little bit of a circular motion, prying his arm up, get my knee to the mat, and then slap the mat with my foot. What I want to be careful of when I'm doing this type of mount is I don't want my foot to slide between his legs and him just grab my ankle and end up in a 3/4 mount. Because then he may make his way back to guard pretty easily. So I'm trying to avoid allowing him to trap my ankle of the leg that's going across, and I have to be paying attention to the leg that's trailing because he could trap that ankle as well. This leg being nice and high, like we talked about earlier, it clears this arm out of the way so that when I mount, if I mount here and he just pushes, he can easily reverse me. Okay, but also if I were to mount here and leave that wedged, he could just wait a little bit. Okay, he could keep this knee kind of pointed that way. You see how this right knee is pointed towards that wall over there? His elbow's wedged. And he could just be a little patient. And right when I get, Dan, you have to be patient. Okay? More patient. Okay? Right when I get to about here, he uses that elbow to lift my leg up and trap me in a half guard. And really, he's got the underhook, so he might even take my back. So that's 2 reasons why you don't want that elbow wedged in your hip when you go to mount. Because the other person knows how to organize their body or knows how to time their escape. You're going to end up losing position. You're going to end up reversed, or you're going to end up back in guard. Okay, I'll show you what can happen over here as well if I'm not careful. I'll slide my leg over, okay? I don't slap the mat. I just kind of drag my leg across. He traps my ankle between his legs, and then he pommels his arm back in and pushes my knee back between his legs. And now again, not only did I not gain position, I lost position because I went from side control to half guard instead of side control to mount. So these are things we're trying to avoid, and while we're taking all these very specific actions to spread his body out, meaning like I want to disconnect his elbows from his knees. I want to open up all this space just like I opened up this space. The higher I can get up his body when I mount, the less likely he is to use his legs and the less power he has in his arms to push. So I've gotten higher up his body by clearing that elbow, and I've killed the elbow's ability to recover guard on this side. I slide my knee across, I walk his arm up, and I'm very careful about how I drag my knee across, okay, my foot across. See, when I come across here, I slap the mat and then peel my heels right back into his butt. Once we get mount, we're just gonna go nice and wide with his hands, with our hands, and then grapevine the legs. It's called airplane base. This is a mount pinning position. Just pinning, not really attacking here. Arms nice and wide, and grapevining the legs, preventing him from bridging me and reversing me by trapping the arm and bridging to one side. Questions on that, guys?